You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast, the #1 resource for growing your function musician business. If you're a solo wedding singer, part of a 12-piece luxury show band, or anything in between, and want to learn from other successful musicians, you're in the right place.
You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast. This is Season 2, Episode 16. My name is Jack, and I am your host for this podcast, and I'm super excited to have you here. This podcast is all about helping you grow and manage your function musician business. Each week, I sit down with an amazing guest to discuss what's worked for them, what hasn't, and the valuable lessons that they've learned along the way. And then together, we can explore how to build successful businesses without burning out in the process. So this is the last episode of Season 2, and it's been an absolute blast recording each and every episode for this season, and I want to say a massive thank you to all the guests that have come on, chatted and shared their knowledge with us, and also to everyone who's messaged in with kind words and support for the podcast. I really do appreciate it. It's quite a lot of work to put it together, so it's really great to hear that people are enjoying it and finding it helpful as well. We'll definitely be back for Season 3. It'll be a couple of months, and I've already got some amazing guests lined up. But if you have something that you'd like to come on and chat about, a particular topic that you think people would find helpful, or if you know someone that you think might be a good fit, then please do get in touch. You can do that by emailing me or giving me a message on Instagram, and you can find those in the episode description. So if you've been listening for any sort of time now, you'll know that we're going to be releasing mini episodes in between Season 2 and 3, so you'll still have some weekly content to listen to. These are answering questions that you've been submitting for a few weeks now, and I'm really excited to get those out there. And lastly, the winner of the giveaway will be announced at the end of the episode, so make sure you stick around to the end to find out if that's you. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Mikey Rainsford. You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast, and on today's episode, I'm joined by singer, songwriter, and guitarist Mikey Rainsford. Mikey, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you, my friend. How you doing?
Yeah, good to have you here, man. We've been talking about this for a little while, so yeah, keen to get going. I'm
glad we got it done in the end.
So yeah, I'm very keen to hear a little bit about your story as a musician, and a bit about your business as well, because from what I can see, you've combined sort of 3 interesting wedding things, which is you supplying you as a wedding musician, also wedding videography, and also invitation design, which just sounds like a really cool idea, and I'm really keen to hear about all that, how that works. But yeah, before we get into all of that, I'd love to learn a little bit more about kind of where you got started, and the journey that's brought you to where you are today.
Sure, yeah. It's probably getting on for about 18 years in the making now, in kind of my general journey through music. I've been professional for about 6 years, but started when I was about 14, 15. There was a guitar laying around the house. I just picked it up and taught myself. Started writing songs, very, very terrible songs back in those days, which hopefully won't see the light of day at any point. I taught myself from a very early age, and started joining bands at school. Went through school kind of coasting. I never really excelled in any kind of subject, not even music. I barely did music at school as a subject. But yeah, then after that, I really kind of found much more of a passion for it. I started writing even more songs, and I joined a band when I was 17, which then kind of became my life for the next 4 years probably. I kind of skipped out on going to university, where I was going to go and study music performance. But I was in this band and it was starting to go pretty well. So I kind of said to my parents, is it okay if I just not go to university and just mess around in a band for a few years? And my parents are incredible. And they were just like, yeah, no problem. That's fine. So yeah, very lucky from that point of view to have such a supportive family. But so that really was my whole life and identity for the next 4 years. And onwards from that, I was in other bands and did a lot of touring, a lot of recording around the world, and some really cool stuff, which definitely teed me up for a career in music. I almost see them as two different things. Like that kind of period when I thought I was going to be the next Dave Grohl or something.
Yeah.
and then the period afterwards where I was more grown up, I had bills to pay. And I class that as being a working musician, which I'm sure a lot of other musicians out there can relate to. Is a working musician feels very different to being just a guy in a band kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Making that transition was very interesting in a lot of ways. It was tough. It's kind of it's a fairly bitter pill to swallow, to kind of accept that, okay, maybe I'm not going to be Dave Grohl. Maybe I have to find a pocket in this world where I can make some money doing something I love, rather than being huge rock star.
Yeah.
So that kind of journey was tough at points, and but I'm very, very happy to be making money playing music. So I can't really. Did
you make any money of the original stuff?
Oh no, hell no.
Spent money more.
Spent way more money than we made, and that was kind of even when it was kind of easier then than it is now, I think. Because we were selling CDs and things like that.
Yeah.
Spotify and that kind of stuff was just kind of starting to creep in. So I'm 33 now, so this was when I was about 17 till about 21. It was my first band, and then about 23 to 25, 26 my second one. So it's there was opportunities to make money from the music itself in terms of selling CDs and that. Now it's even harder, I think. For exposure wise, it's better, on Spotify and social media and stuff. But there's even less opportunity to make money, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So when did you sort of decide, like, function work or session work? What did you get into first?
Definitely the function and kind of hospitality area of the live music. It wasn't like a very distinct split break. It was kind of, I started to do more like covers gigs in bars and stuff towards the end of my time in originals bands. I just found an opportunity to make a bit of money, in bars in Birmingham city centre where I'm from. Mm-hmm. And then I started to find that I could get a lot more. There was opportunities out there to make more money, so it kind of gradually happened. And that was about 2017, 2018 or something like that. And they were pretty poorly paid gigs, a lot of them, like sometimes going out for like 75 quid for doing 3 45-minute sets. It's quite a lot of playing for not that much money. But that was still more than I was making in a originals band. So, so I was like, oh wow, I'm actually getting paid to do this. It's pretty cool. So that was the way that I kind of built up a repertoire as well of songs. Doing that 3 45-minute sets a couple of times a week. I had to kind of build up a load of songs that I could do that I liked, but also that people would know, because I had all this obscure music taste that I could play tons of that, but that's not what bars are going to want. They want Oasis and Killers and stuff.
So I mean, just to go back slightly, what kind of band was the original band, or the one you were in predominantly?
Yeah, so there was a couple of the main ones. The first one was like a kind of a pop punk, rocky kind of thing, kind of like Foo Fighters meets like Kids in Glass Houses, that kind of very melodic poppy rock. And then second one was a bit more gritty. It was like more of a punky ska rock kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
did that influence your cover stuff later on?
A little bit, yeah, absolutely. Particularly like the second band, we were kind of heavily influenced by the Police, and that stuff goes down very well at bars and stuff. So that did a little bit.
Yeah. And did you ever? Have you always just been a solo musician for the function stuff? Did you ever start a band or join a band for that?
I have done several bands actually. I joined fairly soon after I went full time as a working musician. I joined a function band. Again, not amazingly paid. It was about 150 quid for a wedding, which, it's not a lot for a wedding really. And they were all over the country. So that was, put some miles on my car doing that for 150 quid. But again, like, I just took what I could get, you got to cut your teeth somewhere, right? And
100%,
and I would say that to anyone as well, as if you're starting out, you just got to take what you can get to obviously pay the bills, but also to cut your teeth, like you said.
Yeah. So when you said when you decided to go full time, did you just have like some sort of office job or retail job or something like that before? Or
for about 2 years before, about 18 months. Before I was working in bars. I was behind bars at the same time as gigging. To the point where I could get rid of the bar, working behind the bars. So again, it wasn't very immediate. It was gradual. So I had about 18 months when I was juggling the two of them.
That's, I feel like for anyone that is wanting to take that leap, that's the best way to do it, right? You don't have to just quit everything and go all in for one thing. You can do it gradually and take part-time job or something like that. It's definitely got to be the easiest way to do it.
Definitely, yeah. Just a job that is somewhat secure and has a bit of flexibility as well, as obviously would be good. But I know that's not always easy. But
yeah. And so weddings. As we said just before, weddings take up most of your time now, or is it a mixture of other things as well?
Yeah, I'd say definitely. Obviously, during the summer season as well, the wedding season, it's a huge part of my income. But I do stuff year round as well. Again, still in Birmingham City Centre, I have a few residencies in bars and stuff because I think I'm quite fortunate in what I do, in that a guitarist and vocalist that I can get. There's so many more opportunities. I have a lot of respect for like drummers and bassists out there that make it, as a full-time working musician, because bars aren't just booking solo drummers and bass players. But I play with tons of bassists and drummers that are extremely busy, and it's much harder for them than it is for me. So.
It's a different ball game, really, isn't it? Because like for people like you've got to really market yourself as the product, whereas they need to go down the route of actually find networking with other musicians and getting gigs through like depping and stuff like that. That's where their diverse income comes from. So it's a completely different ball game, really.
Absolutely, but it kind of works in both ways. Like for the drummers and bass players I work with. I bring them on for gigs when I need a bigger lineup. If I'm booking for like a trio or a four piece or something like that, I have go-to guys that I know are super reliable as well as great players. Yeah, and so I can get them on board, and I guess it works well for them on the other side. To have a relationship with a singer that they can jump on those gigs when needed. So.
Yeah, for sure.
It's good to build those relationships like that.
Yeah. I mean, we've been through it a lot on this podcast, but networking is just one of the best things that you can do. Just get out there and talk to people and make connections. Yeah. So let's go into kind of what you're up to now then with Blackbird Weddings. Just tell us a bit about it to start with.
Yeah. So Blackbird itself only really became a company in 2021, I guess. Before that, I was just Mikey Rainsford Music. That was my thing, my brand, I guess. Then COVID hit, and obviously all music work disappeared, as it did for a lot of people. And I just needed something to bide my time, just something to keep my brain active. I was still songwriting and stuff then, but I'd always been into photography and videography as a hobby. Yeah. And I just thought, if I can just devote a bit of time to that, now I have loads of time on my hands. In the middle of COVID, I was like, devote some time to that, maybe invest a bit of money in some gear, which I did, like some good cameras and that kind of stuff, and editing software. And I just spent that time teaching myself really how to do it properly. Yeah. And then with a view to getting some wedding videography bookings. And the idea started to evolve then to turn it into a business under one umbrella, which became Blackbird Weddings, to have a site, where I could offer music, video, and as you know, under one brand, and because people could Google looking for a musician, and this guy's good. Let's have a look at his stuff.
Yeah,
I do videography as well. Like, then there's an opportunity right there to branch out. So, and then, but it kind of evolved further because my wife is an interior designer. She just texted me, actually. That was her lovely ding there. That just I'm going to tell her off for that. She's an interior designer, and so she's really good on Photoshop and things like that.
Yeah.
And so we were like, we could offer more, if she was to go down the kind of wedding stationery route, design, all that kind of stuff, the invitations, the kind of welcome boards, the seating plans and stuff like that. There's a real opportunity there to build on it more. And and also to get her involved in it. She's very busy with her job, her full-time job, but she wanted a bit of a side hustle, a side gig, so that kind of works perfect, really. So.
Yeah, it's it's really smart on like lots of different levels, because you're not only sort of differentiating yourself in the wedding musician market, but also the wedding videography market is super, super saturated as well. And now you've given yourself a differentiator in that also. Totally. Super smart. Is it quite stressful managing, like doing both on one wedding, for example, if you're playing and also you got to run around video and stuff as well?
Yeah, it is. I did a couple last week, actually. I did the Wednesday and the Saturday, and they were both videography and music. Yeah. The one on the Wednesday was, I was just doing like an acoustic set in the afternoon, so I could kind of dip out and do that. But the Saturday one, it was all day wedding and videography, and then the evening band. I put a trio together for the evening band. Yeah. So I got there at 10 a.m. I think, and left at 12:30 a.m. the following day. So that was kind of insane. But in terms of the actual kind of logistics of it, I have a second shooter that I work with, Josie, who's really cool, and she came along for those ones, comes along with me, and keeps the video going while I'm playing. Obviously, so the client doesn't miss out on big chunks of the day. It can be stressful, but the video part for me is a bit more stressful, because the music, like I said, I've been doing it for like 18 years. I could kind of do it with my eyes closed in a way, but the video, I still have to. It's still only 2 or 3 years into it for me, so I still have to think about it a lot when I'm doing it.
Weddings as well are stressful for photographers and videographers. I think, like, I've only done one. It's not my thing. And I was doing it as a second shooter. So the stress wasn't really on me. It was on on my friend who brought me along. But it's a different ball game. There's compared to what I do, obviously, like, there's no redos. You can't get them to, if your camera turns off halfway through their vows or whatever, there's no redoing that.
Absolutely not. Yeah, no, well, usually once I get the ceremony out the way, it's much more relaxing. I can kind of enjoy the rest of it, but getting those moments in the ceremony, her coming down the aisle is the one for me. Like making sure that's in focus and that it's exposed correctly, and everything like that. I'm just like, once I get that out of the way, I'm like,
I know that stress. And I've seen your videos, man. They're absolutely beautiful. So you're doing a great job on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of, my philosophy for that when I went into videoing was fake it till you make it. So I was, I'd never done anything professionally, but I'd watched tons of other people's videos. There's loads of good creators out there, content creators. Russell Kent Nichols, for example, I don't know if you know this guy, is really incredible wedding videographer, but has loads of content for other videographers much earlier in their careers. Like, he's very well established, but he spends a lot of time producing stuff for people starting out, and there's loads of people like that, and but I just faking it to make it is something. I
feel like that's a great motto for all like businesses, really.
Oh, I was about exactly that, and it can work with anything. It's a little bit perception of potential clients and stuff. It's how you market yourself, and how you come across as a person, and your content or your music, whatever it may be. Like, if you can make it, a really good standard, people will just think that you are, up there with others, when even if you are just starting out.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of work behind the scenes to kind of for that to work and to happen. But if you put the effort in, you can fake it till you make it, and people will trust you.
Yeah, exactly. I think I can't remember who it was. I think it was Nicole that was on the podcast a while ago, but she said you can't, you're not qualified to do the thing unless you do the thing. So you can't. It's impossible not to fake it till you make it, really, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, and it's confidence as well. Yeah. Which I think is the hardest part of that kind of theory, is making sure you have the confidence within yourself to kind of to portray yourself in that way to people, so they'll believe it,
or at least pretend that you're confident about it. Yeah. But you mentioned marketing there a little bit. I'd love to talk about how that kind of works with both businesses. Does one feed the other more, or do they kind of work individually as well? Or
they seem to work individually, from what I've found and what I can see from my website and stuff. Is people will be searching for one thing, and then on a few occasions I get people that do actually do exactly what I wanted them to do with the idea in the first place, is that come for one thing and end up taking the other thing as well.
Yeah.
But more often than not, they're after something specific, and that's what they'll go with, and that's fine. But I like the kind of brand as a whole. I kind of keep it all within the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's consistent. So yeah, that's kind of how it works.
Where do most of your leads come from? Does your website play a big part in that, or mostly social media? Or
yeah, website does play a part. I get quite a few inquiries straight through the website, but yeah, I think Instagram is probably the main one. I would think, because it's just such a powerful tool for musicians, for anyone. It's because it's just people, because it's so popular. So many people use it, but it's just to have all that stuff there on your feed, on the profile, is you can just learn everything about a brand or a company within 15 seconds. To have, it's a great way to promote yourself very quickly. Yeah, and it has to be impressive off the bat, because people's attention spans are so short that if you don't capture them immediately, then they're going to swipe to the next whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you have any sort of social media plan, or I suppose you're not short of content if you're filming and performing a lot?
Yeah, not really a plan. No, I just I try to post at least kind of 2-3 times a week, and kind of keep it with all within the brand, and a consistent quality of post. In terms of whether it be the footage itself from a wedding, or the footage of me playing, I don't like the quality to be too amateur looking.
Yeah,
I don't want to sound pretentious in that way, but it's just you just have to set a certain standard for yourself that people are going to see and go, oh, this looks quality, Whereas, if you just chuck a camera on your phone on the floor and just film up at terrible angle, terrible audio, it's not going to capture people.
Yeah.
So I think keeping a consistent level, raise your expectations of yourself, higher than you would maybe even think, and just try and keep it at that level. And again, that goes back to faking it till you make it. Raise it to that level, and people will appreciate it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're not lucky, because it's not luck, but you're quite individual in that you've got the skill of being able to do high quality camera work as well as that. So it's a lot of musicians just don't or have no want to learn that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, as well, I'm fortunate in that way. But on the flip side, I would say that phone cameras are so good now, that if you just look just scratch the surface a little bit on the camera itself, there's quite a few settings in there that people don't know about, that you can just kind of alter a few things and like on cinematic mode on iPhones. So there's probably equivalents on the other brands, but yeah, if you've just a few little tweaks on that and just get a nice angle, and that's all you need. Like
set up a nice little corner in the room or something. Like I just got to say as well, you win the award for the nicest backdrop for anyone that's been on the podcast so far as well.
I'd love to take credit for that, but as I said, my wife's an interior designer, so
yeah. But like, so many people just do like a video of themselves against a flat white wall, and and just a quick YouTube of how to like make a nicer video than that will do wonders for your social media as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and what about the stuff that your wife does as well? That's a newer thing, I assume. And is that sort of helping the whole thing work and bringing in different leads from different places as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It is new. It's newer than the music, obviously, but also the video that came a bit later anyway. And so it's always been a side hustle for her, but she absolutely loves it. And the inquiries that come in for it, they quite often are off the back of a music inquiry or something like that. But also, that they are just a few inquiries that come in just for that, and that's great for the business that I get. Stuff that's fairly new. That part side of the business is very new, but still get inquiries for it solely for that. And I'd say social media is huge for that one, more so than the music, because music, I get a lot of bookings just off word of mouth for that. Yeah, because I've been doing it for so long, and also the public gigs I do in Birmingham. I sometimes play in bars full of a few hundred people, and there's that many potential clients right there, so it's much easier for me to get in front of people. But for the invitations, it's social media is great for that, because you can take some nice pictures and videos of work she's done, and it's there for people to see. So,
do you use Google or Google Ads or any sort of advertising like that at all as well, or is just kind of all organic stuff?
A bit, yeah. I've kind of dipped my toe in it. It's most of my stuff is organic, but to be honest, I really would like to delve more deeply into it, because I know it's an extremely powerful tool, and if you put some kind of invest some money and time into figuring out how it works, I think that's very, very powerful. So that's kind of a part of my kind of going forward plan, is to kind of figure that out a bit more.
Yeah, and me too. That is my plan for next month. Yeah, it's such a hole to get lost in, but I just need some time to do it properly. But that is 100% on my plan for soon, and hopefully I'll be able to share some of what I learn on here as well. This podcast is sponsored by my business, InFocus Recording Company. At InFocus, we specialize in creating exciting cinematic show reels for professional function musicians. We also offer photo shoots and custom logo design, helping you bring all your branding together into one cohesive package. Whether you're a solo artist or part of a 12-piece luxury show band, having standout promo material and strong branding is essential to growing your business and booking more gigs. If you're interested in checking out some of our work and learning more, head over to infocusrecordingcompany.co.uk.
Great.
So another string to your bow, is that the right expression? Is that you also do some songwriting as well. So I'd love to know a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So there was a period of time where I stopped songwriting. I kind of I fell out of it for a little while. It was more of a self-confidence thing, I was pretty convinced that everything I was doing was a bit naff at that point. I was like, so I kind of just removed myself from that kind of part of it, and I went a bit of a tangent, but I went and worked in America for for like 2 or 3 summers in a row, just teaching music on a summer camp, which was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. But that's a very different story. But yeah, after that I came back and I started to kind of get a little bit more into it, and just writing songs for myself. But then I came across a company called Songfinch, which is an American company, and they it's a really cool idea. They have artists on their website, and people can go on, choose an artist, and kind of order a song with a view to be as a gift for a loved one or something like that.
Right. Okay.
So they go on there and write out all this information about their relationship with this person as and I get it through as a brief and just write a song, record it at home and send it off. and get paid for it. And it's that's been really good. The past few years, I've made quite a substantial amount of money from it, just because it's a really good tool that people can go on there and find you, and have that many potential customers that you can sell songs to, and it's really good.
I've not heard of that as a service before. When you mentioned that, I thought it was going to be like sync work for adverts or whatever, stuff like that. But no, that's really interesting, and I would imagine like more fulfilling as well. Yeah, because it's for someone specifically, not just sort of like you're writing something and chucking it out and hope someone kind of buys it. It's literally filling someone's like order, as you said. And it's like making it's a great gift for someone. Anyone can receive something like that. It's all bespoke. I write the lyrics for these people and their story, telling us their story. Quite often, it's from one partner to another. But, I've done loads for, mothers and fathers and siblings and friends and stuff like that. So, that's been really good. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's very intrigued by that. But, that's it must be quite challenging as well to fit people's stories into lyrics that you don't actually know, you don't know personally. Like, that can be tough sometimes. And some people will write paragraphs after paragraph, loads and loads of information, which is interesting. Then some will barely put anything. So I kind of have to just put lots of nice little kind of frilly, generic kind of lovey-dovey stuff as well. Yeah, but that really was a great creative outlet, because I found that kind of line of work maybe about 3 or 4 years into my career as like a working musician. And I love playing live, and I love doing those gigs. They're really, really fun. But just constantly playing cover songs and stuff like that, it doesn't fulfill that creative aspect that I still have. So it got me very much back into that. And a lot of the songs that that I wrote for other people, I still retain the rights to the songs themselves, so I could then, I released a song under my own name as a original artist for the first time in years last year, and that started off as a song I wrote for just some couple in America. That is a song that for them that I think it was for an anniversary or something like that, but I ended up releasing it as my own single. I changed all the lyrics obviously, so it wasn't some random people, but. So that it really kind of ignited some creativity in myself, which I think I had lost. Yeah, that's really interesting, man. Is there anything else that you get up to that we haven't covered yet, that sort of brings in and keeps yourself busy as a musician? I don't think so. No, I think that's it. I mean, like I said, the weddings are a huge part of it, but there's like 2 or 3 bars in Birmingham where I play at. One it's called Albert Schloss, which is like there's one in Birmingham, there's one in London, Manchester, Liverpool. Really, really, really cool place. But what's cool about it is they have a big pool of musicians of a really high quality, and they can you get booked for a Saturday night, and then the week of the gig you find out who's in your band with you. And it's like a 7-piece band with like keys and sax and everything. And then the week of the gig you get put in a group chat with these 6 other people, and you figure out a set list, and you just turn up on the night and you just do it. And those are some of the funnest gigs I do. The most fun gigs I do at the moment is kind of keeping on my toes, like getting up on stage. It's a big place as well. When it's full, you can get like 600 or 700 people in there, so it's a really good night. And I can recommend that kind of approach to any musicians. Is like, because I do so many gigs where I just turn up and do a lot of the same songs that I could do with my eyes closed. But when I do something like that with 6 other people that sometimes I haven't met before, we go, and it really keeps you on your toes. It keeps it exciting. So. Yeah, I mean, that sounds stressful to me, to be honest. The first few times it was, but you settle into it and just learn to kind of have fun with it. So I mean, what's the idea behind that? Why do they not just have like a regular group of people, or is it just because people are busy? Or
it can be because people are very busy, and I play with some, there I've met some people that do some really big stuff, play with some, a lot of session musicians that play with really big artists and are doing tours, arena tours and stuff like that. But, they come home from a tour and they have, a month or so off. So they just come and play there with a bunch of other really like-minded musicians. And they it's the pool of musicians, it's fairly big, but it's maybe like 20, 30 people. So you pretty much know everyone, and it's just who's free at that time kind of thing. So there is some winging it involved, but on the other hand, you do know these guys, and how people play and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's I don't know if it's similar or not, but there's a place in Reading, which is where I live. It's called Playlist Live, and I think they just that's like a request place, but they just use Depp musicians all the time as well. It's not like a regular band or anything. Yeah. I've heard some bad stuff about there actually. I don't know if it's actually that good, but it's kind of similar maybe, or I mean it's the people that can do that off the bat. Like I would say it's actually a bit easy for me because I'm usually singing. I do, I play guitar as well, but more often than not, I'm just singing. So I have a bit more say over the set lists because I'm singing the songs. But some of these guys, they get stuff dropped on them with a week, not even a week, sometimes a day or two's notice, and they have to kind of pull these songs out the bag, and that's it's very impressive. Yeah. Yeah, awesome, man. So, I mean, I feel like that quite nicely brings us on to some of your best gigs and worst gigs, or just some cool experiences that you'd love to share with us.
Yeah, definitely. Best gig. Again, I might split this into like pre-working musician and post-working. Like pre-working musician was probably I managed to play sold out Brixton Academy, which was absolute dream. Yeah. I wish I could remember more of that, like actually being on stage, but it's a bit of a blur. But there was pictures, so I know I did it. Actually, at the time, that was because it's just such a bucket list venue for a lot of people, I think. So.
Yeah, I mean, I used to play in a band, a similar era to you. Similar kind of bands as well. Maybe we crossed paths at some point, I'm not sure.
Maybe.
But that was always a bucket list thing, and I never got anywhere near, so well done.
Yeah, amazing venue. Just that sloped floor. Yeah, because with bigger venues, sometimes all one level, you kind of can't see past the first few rows. But just the way it slopes up to the back, it's like you can see every single one of the 5,000 people. Amazing. Yeah, amazing venue. Yeah,
some of my favorite gigs have been there.
Yeah, what a venue. Best gig as a working musician. I did some really cool, like more corporate-y things. Like I did. A couple of gigs for UEFA. So I did at Anfield Stadium for Liverpool for a Champions League game. I think it was against Napoli. That was really cool experience. And it was very chilled. It was in the kind of VIP area. So it was, people just sipping cocktails and stuff like that. So it was pretty chill, but it was incredible experience. I also did gig for the British Racing Drivers Club at Silverstone for the Silverstone Grand Prix, for the F1. That was really cool as well. And then worst gigs. Oh man, where do I start? I've done some when it's many people can relate, I'm sure, when there's just you, the bartender, maybe a sound engineer, just in a big old empty room. But in terms of very specific things that happened, I think I've had some when wedding guests have just, one took me out once. I was at the front singing. I had a monitor in front of me, and she came and stood and was like singing at me. Like she was harmless in the sense that she didn't mean to do anything, but like she was like stood in front of me and she was starting to sway like this, and I was like playing guitar, so I couldn't even hold. And I was just looking at her, thinking she's going to go here. It depends which way she's going to go, forward or back. And she went forwards into the mic stand. I went flat back over the drum kit, because it was quite a small stage, so the drum kit was immediately behind me. I was like splayed over the drum kit, like cymbals went everywhere. Yeah. Oh man, that was bad. Yeah, I'm covered in drink as well. Her drink, full drink, went all over me. staying professional in that moment was one of my biggest challenges. I just did. The whole room went silent as well. Obviously, the band stopped playing because the drummer stopped. The band stopped. Everyone turned, gasped. Just silence in this room. So what do you say in that moment?
Yeah.
I don't. I think I actually gave her a hug because I was like, I can't yell at her or have a go at her.
Yeah.
And if I don't know if I was, I don't think I was mad from what I remember. I was just like, what on earth has happened here? Like, I gave her a hug and I was just like, kind of ushered her off stage, and I was like, I think I made light of it on the microphone. It's like, I think the worst thing I could have done in that moment is respond in like aggressive manner or or even annoyed if I'd had a go at her, and because I think that would make the situation worse. I just had to make light of it so people would hopefully find the funny side, even though I wasn't that amused myself. But in the object of saving the moment and making sure it wasn't a negative part on this couple's wedding, I was just got to make light of this immediately. So that was probably one of the worst gigs.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Awesome. So that brings us on to the quickfire round. Some quick questions and usually not so quick answers, which is absolutely fine. So first question, what is the most effective thing that you've done to market yourself or your business?
Probably maybe, like having a brand, I think is really important in terms of making yourself identifiable. Like when I was just playing around with logos and stuff, when I started Blackbird, I just stumbled across this kind of black and gold thing, like black backgrounds with like the gold logo and stuff like that, and that just kind of became the color scheme for everything, which I think is really good for anyone to do, even if it is just a couple of colors that you keep consistent. Just makes your brand much more identifiable and looks much more professional. But also just, I think, letting your personality shine through. For me, this was something I didn't do at first. I not fell into the trap, but like I would try, even my like social media posts and everything like that, and talking to clients, I would try and be very professional and like almost a bit corporate. I'd like to, speak in that kind of corporate, way. And that's not me. Like, there's a reason I'm not in a job like that. It's because I'm a scruffy musician bloke. It's like, so I just kind of leaned into my personality, like how I would talk to clients and talk on social media posts, how I would talk to my friends and families, just like a bit more lighthearted, a bit, friendly, and try and get humor in there and things like that. Like it felt much more natural, and I think potential clients just warm to that much more. Like they want to, especially with people choosing wedding suppliers. Definitely these days, I don't know if it's always been a thing, but I can definitely tell that people just warm to suppliers as people rather than as a service or a company. And people really like that. And I think you would get much more interest and many more bookings, kind of letting your personality shine through a bit.
Yeah, I imagine for you, maybe more so than other people, is really important to have good relationships with wedding planners and things like that, and other suppliers. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, and that carries through to being there on the day. Obviously, that, like I said, that helps you get bookings, but on the day as well, just keep that going. And
yeah.
And I guess just being a good person, being nice to everyone you meet at the venues, even if people you meet there, like venue managers or other suppliers, aren't even that nice to you or pleasant to work with. Like just bite your tongue sometimes, and just as long as you impress the right people and leave a lasting impression, like you'll get recommendations, and that's huge in the wedding industry.
Yeah, good stuff. Next question. What have you learned in the last 3 months that you wish you knew 3 years ago?
Definitely keeping better track of accounts and just the really boring stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've just started using QuickBooks, the accounting software.
Yeah.
Just after 6 years of
yeah. What were you using before?
A good old fashioned spreadsheet.
Oh, you can't beat a spreadsheet though.
Yeah, and it did the job, but it just and I would what I would do, I would leave everything until mid-January. I wouldn't do it. I'd just keep get paid and just I'll worry about that later. But and then get to mid-January and I'm like, oh God, I've got a week or two to sort all this nonsense out that if I just kept on top of it would have been much easier.
Yeah, I couldn't live like that because but you forget things and like, what was that? I can't remember. Yeah, no.
I didn't learn though for years. But I think I finally learned my lesson now. So,
Do you use an accountant or do you do it yourself?
I did for the first few years, but then she actually retired. And then so I did it myself for I think only 1 year, and at that point I was like, this is
too stressful.
It's too stressful. I need some help here. So QuickBooks was really good, really good game changer.
If you were just starting out now, what's the first thing that you'd do?
I'd definitely going back to the kind of professional looking content and marketing material and stuff like that. I would just do that immediately. Because I've said to like a few people that and other musicians that are like much earlier on in their careers than me, that are just kind of where I was, just doing the cheap bar gigs and stuff like that. There's really not a huge difference in quality between like a bar musician and a wedding musician.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you have good and bad musicians in both of those areas, but the only difference between playing in bars and playing at weddings is your marketing and your promotional material.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know loads of people that are more than good enough to be doing much better paid wedding gigs for 400 or 500 quid, but they're doing a gig in a bar for 100 quid.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're good enough to do that. The only thing you need is a good video or a good set of photographs or some like much more professional looking social media content. Like that's the only difference. Like if you've got the quality and the songs and the talent, I guess, to get up there and play in front of people, like you will get bookings in weddings. Just with some better material.
Yeah, absolutely. What is the biggest mistake that you've made in your business, and what did you learn from it?
There was one I had where there was some miscommunication between me and a couple in terms of when I was due to finish at a wedding. So I kind of got to where I thought the end was, where I was the end of my shift, if you like, and kind of turned the music off, like started packing away. And I think it was one of the bridesmaids came over kind of with instruction from the bride to be like, what you doing? Like, and kind of, they were, pretty upset about it. They're like, what's going on? What you doing? And this gig was miles away as well. It was like 3 hours from home or something like that. I was like, well, I'm finished. I'm going to get on the road home. And so the situation turned out fine. I chatted to them and was explained everything, and we came to a compromise.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't leave a sour taste from our relationship in terms of client and customer, but that just better communication on my part probably would have solved that.
Yeah. Whose fault was it? Who was right?
Well, and I think it was probably my fault. And I, as I said, better communication and a bit more, if I was a bit more thorough in what I had communicated to them, it probably could have. That was, it was a very avoidable thing that I could have avoided. But the main thing I had in that moment when it was kind of, I was a bit like, oh God. The main thing was just ensuring that they were happy. It meant that I got home much later than I should have done.
Yeah.
But hey ho, that's
I mean, sometimes the happy client is
that's more important than me having a couple more hours sleep. It was just like I had to rectify the situation. I had to ensure that they were happy and that they didn't come away with it with a bad feeling.
That's any bad experience, they can leave one bad Google review something like that, and it can wreck your whole business, right? Yeah. Last question. Do you use any specific tools or apps to help manage your business? Obviously, we know QuickBooks now, but
QuickBooks, to manage, but not so much really. QuickBooks is the one now for me, but it's really good, obviously, for keeping on top of your accounts and that kind of stuff. But it's also really good for mileage. For anyone that's just starting out, kind of self-employed stuff, and particularly as a gigging musician, you're doing all over the country. Your mileage is huge in terms of your tax bill, because you can save a huge amount off your tax bill from just keeping on top of your mileage and inputting it all correctly, like keeping track of everywhere you've been. That can bring your tax bill down quite a lot, which is is huge. But I don't use any of the apps. I've been interested, and I've had a little look at the apps that are more in terms focused on bookings. Keeping up to date with your calendar and sending out invoices and that kind of stuff. But I manage all right with just my Google Calendar and reminders and things like that. But I imagine it would be easier, I'm sure, to have some help like that.
I mean, sometimes simplicity is the best, right?
Yeah.
If it works, it works.
Yeah, it's working up until now. Like, it's been the odd time when I've had, double bookings, but I'll always, ensure that I don't leave anyone high and dry kind of thing. So I'm pretty happy with my workflow, I guess.
Nice. So what's next for you? What have you kind of got, any big plans for this year for growing things, or pretty content with where you are? Or
just growing the business more, growing Blackbird more. I'd love to kind of offer more services, like something with me and my wife have discussed with Blackbird is another kind of prong is to have a kind of like set hire. So what we actually did for our wedding, there was we hired in a bunch of like props, as in like some chairs, some like bookcases, books, rugs, and all these kind of stuff to make it look a very certain way. And this is where like my wife's interior design could really come into her own. Like if we discussed like renting out just a storage container, just going raiding charity shops, getting all these little cool knickknacks, and just having that as a service. People can go on and just pick all these different things to have as part of their ceremony, whatever it may be, part of the wedding, and we just go out and deliver it to them. That's another thing. And also just growing the videography side a bit more, because the music work is really busy, and I don't think I could physically fit much more in, but I would love to do a few more videos. I'll put a bit more effort into that and the marketing of that. I think, like, going back to what we were saying about looking into Google advertising and that kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely need to dip my toe into that. And then personally, like, I'd love. There's a lot more. I have tons and tons more songs that are that I've never seen the light of day, that no one's heard, that I really like and that I want to put out there just under my own name, as like with a view to just fulfilling my creativity that's kind of still burning away inside myself. Like, I'm kind of. It's kind of the opposite of where I started. How I said right at the start that I thought, wanted to be the next Dave Grohl, and I, had all these dreams and aspirations. And now I'm much further on in my career, and I'm quite a lot older. I still want to release music that way, but I'm under no illusions that it's going to go, huge, and I'm going to be headlining Glastonbury. But if I can just put some music out there and people enjoy it, and have that as like an outlet for my songwriting, like from a personal standpoint, then I'm happy with that. It's cool.
That's
and
great, man.
I'll make upwards of £3.50 on streaming probably.
All a con, isn't it? Yeah. But no, that's great, man. Yeah, this has been really fun. I've really enjoyed it. So if people wanted to find out a little bit more about you or connect with you in any way, where would you send them?
Yeah, probably Instagram right off the bat. It's just Mikey Rainsford, all one word. Rain like the weather, forward like the car. That's how I always tell people. It's very simple, but it's people never know how to spell it. Yeah, and the website for Blackbird is just blackbirdweddingsuk.com. So yeah, they're the two best places to find me.
I'll leave those in the episode description as well. Yeah, thanks so much for coming on and having a chat with me, man.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks very much for having me. Glad I could finally jump on.
So there we go. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And I just want to say a massive thank you to Mikey for coming on and chatting to me. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, I'm sure, the winner of the season 2 giveaway, which is £100 Amazon gift voucher, is about to be announced. I've put all the valid entries into a random name picker and I'm going to hit the button now. Should get a sort of drum roll or something here, and the winner is Jester.music. Congratulations. Please give me a message to claim your prize. So yeah, that is it. Season 2 done. Again, thanks to everyone that listens and supports the podcast. Take it easy, and I'll catch you next week for the first of the mini episodes.